An entity that resembles a Kachina doll appeared at the foot of my bed. Have other people experienced this, or does anybody know anything about this type of phenomena? I copy-pasted parts of my chat with ChatGPT. What did I see in the Uintah Basin? What did I see in the Uintah Basin? ChatGPT said it might have been an initiation into higher consciousness, or my third eye was opened. I just asked ChatGPT about this. It said it was my third eye opening or some type of spiritual initiation. I can post screenshots. Can anyone tell me anything about an entity that might have a similar appearance to a Kachina doll? It appeared when this person lived in the Uintah Basin. After seeing it, the person had an emotional outburst that seemed to influence the weather to storm, thunder, hail and lightning. This was in the middle of summer. July. The person is in meltdown for a number of reasons, mainly because of the indescribable entity that had appeared at the foot of the bed only an hour or so earlier. This person is hyperventilating, crying uncontrollably, throwing things, and just filled with this combination of hysteria and rage. The emotion was flowing through them with so much intensity, unbridled intensity. When they noticed the sky was heaving hail at the ground, it had grown dark and chaotic. It just felt as though this storm was some type of meteorological incarnation, externalization, manifestation of what was happening psychically, emotionally, mentally. I am so sorry. I understand everybody in here is hyper-intelligent, or at least very capable of articulating their thoughts and experiences, easily forming coherent paragraphs. However, I struggle with a dysgraphia subtype, limiting my understanding and ability to form paragraphs with proper punctuation and sentence structure. Please understand I am genuinely trying my hardest, as I'm not looking forward to embarrassing insults being hurled at my intellect. While I am fairly comfortable WTH spelling, I have a mediocre relationship with language and grammar, but I have a very limited, probably below average understanding of how to use punctuation properly or correctly form acceptable sentence structure, not for a lack of trying. Please just try to receive what I'm attempting to share, as I have spent years seeking answers to understand what happened to me this day. I'm in a fit of hysteria unlike anything I've ever been prone to, when the weather seems to embody or reflect the emotions coursing through me. Suddenly it's overcast and hailing. The winds are aggressively flinging sleet every which direction. Lightning flashes through and thunder booms. I take note, questioning my sanity, because I can't shake this deep sense of connection, as though I was deeply attuned to the weather condition and the elements were. It sounds crazy typing it out. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I just had this intuitive understanding or awareness of this weather anomaly and its connection to my heightened emotional state. I've never experienced, felt, or believed this again. I am not insane. This was a one-time thing. I did wonder deeply at this, which brought me down to a calm, curious state. My husband seemed as though he couldn't believe what he was asking me, as he half seriously asked me if I was controlling the weather. I just stared at him bewildered, but he genuinely seemed as taken aback as me. I settled down, and so did the weather seem to settle with me. The clouds cleared, the rain stopped, and the sun comes out. I start to feel that thick summer heat burning into the day, and I was just perplexed probably for the rest of that day. This was the second reply to ChatGPT about this phenomena after it indicated the entity I observed was due to a heightened emotional state. I was not in a heightened emotional state when it appeared. I was deep in researching cells and their various meanings and purposes, and pondering symbolically how their functions correlated with everything else in the universe, from religious structure to spiritual themes to physical biological function, etc. And I was also researching astronomy with a similar consideration as to how everything seems to be connected and doing the same thing, telling the same stories, interacting in the same ways, governed by the same laws across the board. And I think I was also looking into physics and certain mathematical symbols and their functions and what they were really representing and communicating on a deeper esoteric level. I had been researching alchemy and ancient symbols as well, while I'm in deep thought, soaking information like sponge. I look up for some reason, no idea as to what made me look up from my computer phone, pen and paper, but I look up, and there at the foot of my bed is this being. This humanoid being, except its features were not human. It looked like it was wearing a mask, except it wasn't a mask. It's like its physical biological design was that of how it appeared, but I have no point of reference to help me explain, other than to say the closest comparison I can make is that it almost looked as though its face was a mask. I looked up and we made eye contact. Its expression was so intense and I was so startled my entire bed lurched from the jerk of my body when I saw this thing, and jumped or flinched or recoiled, whatever I did. I moved with such intensity my bed physically moved probably an inch or more forward or backward. We locked gazes for no more 3 to 4 seconds, possibly 5 to 7 seconds at the very most, and then the being was gone. Disappeared right in front of me, or maybe it faded. Either way, it was there then it wasn't. The heightened emotional state didn't take place until after I had the living daylights scared out of me. This happened in 2017. I just asked ChatGPT about this. It said it was my third eye-opening or some type of spiritual initiation. I can post screenshots, but just want to know if anybody knows anything about beings that show up during intense research and intense learning. I began telling ChatGPT about the experience from a third-person perspective because I didn't want the AI to identify me a nutter, but it got too complicated to continue with this person language, so I dropped them my friend facade and let her rip. Any information explaining what happened and what appeared is greatly appreciated. I can post screenshots if anybody wants me to.